Good day guys, and welcome to episode 116 of the Teacher Emilio podcast. I'm your host Emilio, and if you read the title you might be thinking, what happened? Please give us an update, teacher. But before we get into today's episode, I have to tell you one quick thing, which is a big thank you for your feedback. Interestingly enough, episode 115, talking a bit about AI, Studio Ghibli. There are, let's say, different opinions when it comes to that episode. I really value your feedback. It's cool seeing that I'm not the only one who thinks the way I do. On the flip side, it is also interesting hearing others' perspectives. So once again, thank you so much for either getting in touch, dropping a comment, for telling me what you think about the episode. It means a lot. Now, with all that said, we have to get into today's episode. I wasn't planning to do this episode this fast, and maybe if you read the title, One Boss Down, you might be wondering, what does that have to do with the podcast? You might be thinking, is this Killing the Dragon, teacher, with another name? And the answer is a big no. But just because it is not Killing the Dragon, it doesn't mean that it is good news. Funny enough, the dragon in the Zelda game that I talked about last year when that episode got released is a dragon that has 3 heads. So technically speaking, this could be part of Killing the Dragon. But I put in the title One Boss Down because I am finally a fully certified NAATI translator between English and Spanish. This is extremely good news, not only for the podcast, but for the show, for students, and let me tell you why. The main reason this is good news is, well, basically because it is quite an achievement, something that I really pushed through. It took me a few attempts at the translation exam, and that was extremely hard. I don't want to make a whole episode about how hard the test was, but it was really challenging. You make 2-3 mistakes and you're pretty much done. So the margin for error, it's extremely minimal, and obviously that makes it really hard. I think it is something like 80% or 85% of people who take this translation test, they failed it. So I am extremely excited to be here telling you guys that one boss is down. It is not the IELTS or the PTE in Japanese, so my Japanese isn't officially, let's say, certified. But the fact that after so many hours, after many failed attempts, after struggle, not necessarily blood, but after a lot of headaches from getting ready for this exam, I can now come here and say that I can now start translating officially and basically putting the translator stamped, meaning that any documents that a student or anybody needs to bring into Australia from their country that needs to be translated into English, it can be now be done by me, which is again good news, right? The other thing is, basically this was and is a personal goal of mine because I really like languages. Something that you guys, I think I have mentioned this in the podcast, but I'll say it again anyways. My undergraduate degree is on accounting and finance, and I love numbers, anything about Excel, investing, etc., accounting. I really like that. I studied that, again, amazing. But also a part of me thought I really like languages. And well, obviously, you know, I work as an English teacher, so a part of me always thought it would be cool to basically use English or to basically use languages at work. And the fact that I can now come back here and then say that I am a certified translator and interpreter as well. I don't talk about my interpreting qualification just because I was going crazy. Well, I am going crazy with my translation credentials, getting that test ready, then getting ready the, getting ready the Japanese exam, and then of course we have the course that I'm studying right now. I'm also working on a thesis. So I guess that I could come here and say that the dragon, the dragon has 3 faces, one of the faces is dead. Now I've got a 2-headed dragon. And the good news, at least for me, is that in this case, that dragon is fully, let's say, Japanese related, which is good news. It means I can focus a bit more, not only on the podcast, not only on maybe making a few more episodes, but also focusing a bit more on my studies, as well as, let's say, polishing my Japanese skills, improving all those areas that I need to bump up before taking the exam again. It's gonna be a few months till I take the test again, and right now uni is a bit crazy, but the good news is that, again, let's say that the dragon that I'm killing, it's a little bit weaker. I put here in the title one boss down because after holding my switch for so many months, I was thinking maybe, passing this exam, it's not necessarily killing a dragon. It could be, but it felt more like one boss is down, in the sense that in the Zelda video games, at least, when you kill a big boss, right, a monster that is super hard to kill, or like that takes you a lot of time, you need to get into a temple and you have maybe like a maze, and you've got like a lot of little challenges before you, let's say, fight the boss. Once you fight the boss and you win, you get like a power-up. So I almost feel that, at least in my case, the ability to be able to translate and put that translator stamp so that people can bring documents into Australia, it feels to me like a new power, in a good way. So I am stoked, extremely happy. It is crazy, it is good crazy. I seriously can't believe that this is happening. This exam, it took a bit of a toll on me, because the stress, how difficult it is, knowing how many people fail. I'll tell you something, guys. Every day, I don't know about you, maybe I'm the only crazy one like this, but every day I check my email. I think I check my email more than social media. I check my email just waiting for that congratulations email saying that I passed that translation test. And so many times I would just open up the email app, nothing comes up. And so many times I got the thank you, well done, nice attempt, but please do the test again, please do the test again, please do the test again. Oh my God, it was a really tough spot, in the sense that no one likes to fail a test. And I am, as a teacher, telling my students, you got this, don't worry, blah, blah, blah. But I think the problem or a challenge is that in the translation world, there is not, compared to, let's say, IELTS PTE or even language learning, there isn't as much of a demand for that. So there isn't that many people I can talk to. Of course, I had a few teachers and it was great having that support, but at times it was like, it's so tricky because there is no one I can talk to about this. Reminds me a little bit of like studying Japanese in a sense. But look, all in all, again, it's great that this is happening. So many times students have asked me, hey teacher, can you translate my driver's license? Can you translate my university degree? Can you translate my marriage certificate? Can you can you translate, sorry. See, like this is how, in shock I am at the moment. But basically, being able to do all that. I even had someone once asking me, hey Emilio, can you translate my thesis? And I thought that would be a pretty cool challenge and I would love to take it, but officially I cannot translate it and put a stamp. So what I'm trying to say with all of this is that for so long I had to say no to you guys, to former students, to friends. But now I could be like, yes, please send me the document, let me check it out and tell you roughly how long it's gonna take. Which is, again, unreal, good news. And I also want to say big thank you to all of you who are watching the podcast, who have been following through. Before I posted this, I have been sharing this with some students, and I even said to some students and friends, I've got a mini spoiler on the next episode. And I said to some of you the title of the episode, and some people ask me, is this Killing the Dragon? Is it finally being released? What happened? And I was like, look, it's good. It is, maybe, you could argue, it is extremely good. So it was really good being able to have that support, to have that feedback. And I also want to use this episode to maybe motivate you guys, because there might be something that you want to do. Obviously, I'm talking about something good, like think about a goal that is good for you, a personal goal maybe. This could be a qualification, this could be, I don't know, a certificate that you may want to get. It could be something in terms of education, but always, pick something that is good for you and good for everyone around you. And there might be that goal that you have. It almost reminds me a bit of when I wanted to when I wanted to become a teacher. That, it's not like everyone around me said, oh, you're crazy, blah, blah, blah. But, sometimes what I'm trying to say is that deep inside there is something that we want to do. I hope that this episode inspires you to go and do that thing, or maybe to continue going, because, this took me over a year. This is probably like 2 years. I remember in my honeymoon, I would be reading a translation book. That's just how important this was for me. Or like I would be on a trip, and instead of playing Nintendo or doing, I don't know, watching a movie on a plane, I would be reading translation theory. I would be reading, I don't know, common errors in translation between English and Spanish. I printed a bunch of grammar rules that were on I forgot, like a government website. So and I took a bunch of notes. Like I'm telling you, this was a big thing. So I also want to, I suppose, say thanks to me. I'm copying, let's say, this reminds me a lot of, I think it was Snoop Dogg who did this in an interview. He said something like, thanks to me, or thank you to the old me, because I didn't give up, because I kept going, because basically despite what was around, or despite what was happening, despite the situation, I kept going. And I guess this is just, it's a nice win. It's hard to compare it with sports, but this is not necessarily like saying, oh, it was as hard as doing a cycling race, or as nice as doing half a marathon, or I don't know, God, Peaks Challenge, even the Ironman. It's hard to put it into perspective, but I can tell you that this is something that was a lot of hard work. And yes, I just hope that whatever goal you have, now that we are in April, the beginning of April, that things go your way. And if things don't, that's okay. I also don't want to make this episode like, oh, just believe in yourself and sunshine and rainbow and this and that. No, because the reality is a lot of the goals that we may have are going to be extremely hard. So basically, just don't give up. Just keep going, and then be able to just keep going, so that you can get that thing, whatever it might be. For some of you it might be, I don't know, let's say a fitness goal. Maybe for some of you, as I just said, maybe it is finishing your degree, or maybe it might be getting into a course. Maybe it might be passing your IELTS, passing your PTE. By the way, also big thank you for telling everyone about the preparation courses. This year has been amazing. Lots of people are passing the test. Lots of people are getting ready for their IELTS, their PTE. So as you already know, if there's anyone that needs to pass those exams, tell them to get in touch. More than happy to help. And now you can also tell them, hey, and that guy, by the way, he is a translator. So if you need to translate a document, let him know, send it to him. And the same thing goes to you now that you're watching. If you are thinking of, oh, I don't know, basically any document, or I don't know, a website, a video, whatever the case may be, if you need anything translated, do get in touch, because that's another service, another thing that I can do, and I really, really like translation. And of course, especially if you need the NAATI stamp on it, because then, now I can finally do it. So yes, that's basically a good wrap up. Feels like having a power up. It feels so weird. Now I can relax a little bit. As I said, the battle is not finished yet, but at least I can have a bit more time, a bit more room to breathe, focus on other things. And as I just said a million times, I am extremely excited, and I'm glad that you were part of this episode. Now, as you're watching this or listening to this, I started to put this out more, you know, in social media, telling people about it. But actually yesterday I didn't tell anyone. I basically, well, I'm lying to you. I told my mom and I told mom and dad, my brother, my wife, and that was it. No one else. Then this morning it was like, God, I did pass the test. I checked the the congratulations email again, and it's like, yes, it is official. I did pass this. I even printed the credential, and I've got a copy there. And yes, it's just a copy there, you know, in the basically at home, I would say, to keep it simple, in the study room. And yes, it's just crazy that I'm telling you this. And it's not easy. Sometimes whatever goals we might have, they may not be easy goals, but hopefully, you know, by following a plan, we're gonna get there. But also, I mean, sometimes, I guess another part that I could mention in the episode, sometimes we may not have balance. Lots of times my mom would tell me, no, just relax, you're studying too much, you're gonna go crazy, and this and that. And this is something that, again, I'm telling you, was a big thing for me. There might be something, maybe you're listening to me going, who gets this stressed over an exam? And maybe nobody does, unless it's, of course, IELTS PTE, and you need that for the visa. But putting that on the side, you've got your test passed and this and that. Why are you stressed so much? But I suppose the answer could be because it was really important for me, as I just told you before. But then look, this time, or like this 2025, this hasn't been a year of balance. I was doing the math, and I'm not saying do this or copy me, I'm just sharing my experience. When I look at all the practice exercises that I did, I basically, I read a lot. First of all, I read a bunch in both English and Spanish. I reviewed grammar rules like crazy, punctuation rules, grammar rules, as well as basically a bunch of activities. One thing though that I think it's important to mention as well is that I used AI to study. What I was doing is using AI to basically, let's say, focus and improve not only my translation skills, but more importantly, my revision skills, to check any errors that are made in translation, to spot grammar errors, to make these things. And, you know, obviously with this, I'm just, you know, bringing this out here because from last episode, lots of people said, oh, with AI, but maybe you could use AI to do this or to do that. I was using AI purely to study, and it was great. It was also great to double check, let's say, synonyms, or to even review the meaning of words, sentence structures. So these are things that, they were extremely handy and really good. Obviously, you know, I obviously used a paper dictionary. I still had some resources from the course that I'm studying now. So this is not to say that AI is the one and only and we should only use AI, etc. Not at all. But again, extremely useful resource for me in this preparation. And look, with all that said, I hope the video, well, maybe it's not going to be that long, but thank you for being with me. Thank you for sharing the podcast. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for even listening, as I said already. Like, thank you for being with me, for telling me what you think about the podcast, these episodes. I found it really interesting because one person said to me, I disagree with the previous episode, but I'm really happy that you picked a side and you didn't try to just be nice to everyone, and you said, I believe in this and this is my opinion. This, for me, this is black, this is white, and that's it. And for me, it was really interesting seeing how, you know, there was also that response. This is not to say that the podcast will become, you know, a debate arena, but even still, it's cool. I thought it was really nice that, you know, we had this as an opportunity to maybe hear someone else's opinion on a specific topic, and I think that's great. Sometimes that type of mediation helps both parties. So big thank you for the support, and as I said, thank you for being with me, for sharing the podcast, for listening to the podcast. More interviews are to come, but as you already know, the dragon is not fully dead. It's still got two big heads, and it's a tough boss. So it's like one boss down, next one's coming up, but I hope that now having this, let's say, power up, it is not that it's going to be super easy, but it should be slightly, a tiny bit less challenging, which is extremely good news. Sending you a big hug. Don't miss me too much because you'll see me next week. If not, latest you will see me in 2 weeks. And well, that's all for this episode. I will see you in episode 117. And since I made references to episode 115, if you haven't watched it, then I'll put it in the description of the video as well as in Spotify, so you can check it out. Don't forget to share this episode as well. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe, make sure you leave a 5-star review. That's probably the best way to support the podcast. And with this, I'll leave you. Big hug, take care, and bye for now. See ya.